because chronic inflammation is a big issue. But as you know, preparing for this workshop and looking at some of the research, you look at Harvard Health, you got PubMed, that's a medical website. It's scorched with tons of information on inflammation. Okay, what do they say? 60% of people walking around right now, all right, have at least one condition that stems from chronic, low lying inflammation in your body, low-grade cellular inflammation. Okay, so 60%, that's the majority of people. That's more than half of us are having issues. What are we talking about? We're talking about like coronary artery disease.
Yeah.
Let me make it real for you so you understand what we're talking about. Cancer, diabetes, obesity. Okay, these are all comorbidities that are listed with COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
Death rate goes up with these things. So it's like a bad news and good news, all right? There's a gift. You're going to see what you're doing and what you can have that can make a difference. Because if you could see, it's like if we're doing something that's causing this chronic inflammation to build up in our body, and there's two different kinds, I'm going to go over it, but we're going to make sure you own it today and really understand inflammation. But if this is going on, it's wreaking havoc in our body. And if there's something that we're doing in our lifestyle that's causing this, well, I understand sometimes we get a little stuck in our habits. But if I was heading towards something that's going to cause suffering for me, or metaphorically speaking, if I'm driving towards a cliff, if someone could tell me what I'm doing and show me the cliff, it's a huge gift. I'm going to be around for my kids more. I'm going to be able to move easier, walk better, do my things I want to do. And so today, it's a special gift. What I'm going to share with you is stuff that helped me, helped thousands of patients, our families. When my kids are sick, it applies, and it changes everything. Okay? So it's I love being able to, when I come here, one of the things I love most is sharing the principle on how your body works and how you heal, because most of us are not aware of how powerful what you have inside you is. Where you come from. How your body was created. So rather than share with you like a preacher would share, I want to show you the medical stuff. I'm going to show you the evidence to back it up. I want you walking out of here today feeling empowered. And it's going to be amazing, okay? So, but there's lifestyle choices that we make today that affect our tomorrow, okay? So, there's two types of inflammation, okay? Is this on? There we go. Okay? There's two types of inflammation that we talk about, Mr. Medina. There was, when you have an injury, when you have an acute injury, do you see this top one over here? Acute, painful? That is the first one that most people think of. It's, you sprained your ankle and it swelled out to here, okay? And immediately you want to use ice, it's painful. There's 5 things that happen with inflammation. You get redness, you get swelling, pain, okay? Loss of function. You follow? Okay? It's heat is coming off of it, but it gets all warm and hot, right? If you're fighting an infection and your body gets inflamed, it's because it's raising your temperature to rise an infection. It's systemic inflammation, but it helps fight fever. There's certain things that are good and bad about inflammation. So an inflammatory response is part of your healing response if you have an injury. Okay? It's good. But what happens is if your body is not able to support the healing. By the way, just before I leave this, let me just finish that with the acute, because we're going to be talking mostly about the insidious, the painless, the silent type inflammation, the chronic low-grade cellular inflammation, because that's what's linked to all these diseases. And I can tell you right now, we're heading into September, going to be coming around the corner soon. They're going to be talking about the flu season again. And guess what's going to happen? It's going to be the COVID, it's going to surge again. And they're going to be talking about it on the news. And it's flu season coming in again, right? And that's nature. And the choices you make matter. What you do matter, what you want matters. Because if you want, there's certain people that are more susceptible and it's more dangerous and they can die. And that's a sad, sad thing. But there's a lot of people, most people adapted their immune system, which protects you from COVID and from viruses and stuff, fought it. I know someone who, right? Yeah, you have protection, but if you go on the CDC website, doesn't it say, oh, because it's a new virus, you don't have any protection? Yeah, it's about selling this shot that they're gonna come out with. But you do have protection. And the point, 99 point, as the numbers come in, it's getting closer and closer to 99 point whatever percent people that had it overcame it. And there was a huge percentage of people that got it and didn't even know they had it. That's how strong your protection is. And what you're doing makes a difference, because if your vitality in your body, your ability to adapt is decreasing, and medicine associates a lot of it with chronic inflammation. That's why we're going to go over this today. You're actually what does chronic inflammation do to your immune system?
Break it down.
What does it do?
Break it down.
It breaks it down. And then so what happens to the danger levels if you get exposed to this virus?
Can't fight.
You need a strong immune system. You need everything God gave you, and you need it expressing the way it's supposed to. So that's why this is a life changer, this workshop, okay? So the acute type of inflammation, that's the one where I'm helping you through your injuries, and if you have loss of motion, who knows what happens if you can't move your arm all the way up, so you only move it this much, because it hurts? What happens after you keep doing that? It builds up more scar tissue, now you can only move it this much. And then eventually you can only move it this much, and then eventually you can only move it this much, right? Because all the if you don't move your joints through a full range of motion, it builds up scar tissue. And we're going to be teaching you some stuff for your neck and joints. But the whole point is, so what do we teach you with the exercises? No, feel where it starts to hurt if you low back or your neck or your shoulder, and you go right to where the resistance starts because of the pain. And I say go into it a little bit. Not too much that you're going to cause damage and hurt or make it worse.
You'll help me.
But not, thank you, but not too little. You really did it, I'm just coaching you, right? Yeah, we work as a team, okay? So we did it. But what we're doing is moving right to where the resistance is, and then a little bit more. Not too much that it creates damage, but not too little. And then if you need, because there's going to be some inflammation because you're breaking up fibrous tissue there, you ice it again 15 minutes after, you keep doing that, and what happens is it starts to move more and more and more, rather than moving towards like a frozen shoulder or something, right? Or getting less mobile, more stiff. So that's the acute type of inflammation. You can tell you twisted your wrist and it's swollen like this. What I want to talk about is the kind that's life-threatening. I want to talk about even even inflammation like that. If your body's having a hard time healing something, it starts becoming this chronic inflammation. But there's a lot more to it than that, okay? So what it really comes down to is lifestyle choices. Okay? There's a new, more people right now, especially now more than ever with this virus, everything we've been going on. A lot of times when we're talking about health, I could be talking to your family, people about health, your church about health, and people are like, oh yeah, that sounds nice. But in the past, it was like talking in the wind a lot of times because no one really valued their health unless they were in pain and they wanted the pain to go away. But this was a huge wake-up call. Your health is the inner wisdom expressing. And more people are realizing now, people who are not healthy, a lot of them died. They weren't able to handle the stress of this virus. And so, a lot of people are saying, is there anything that I can do? I need a new way, a better way. Do you realize there's a lot of people looking for that? Okay? So, you're going to be able to share with them a different way to increase the quality of your life, and to do it in a linear fashion is what I'm going to show you. Systematic. Hydromatic. I thought of that as soon as I said systematic, right? You ever see Grease Lightning? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Is there anyone here that needs me to speak in Spanish too, or no? We're good? Okay. So anyway, it comes down, the choices we make today, okay, before the ball hits this upcoming flu season, okay, that can set you up for compromise, or it can set you up as a healthy, possible going into what's going to be talked about in this, it could be an incredible challenge, or you could be safe, you could be healthy, strong, where if you get too exposed to the virus, you're like, it's okay. Let me get my antibodies already. You know what I mean? Like, every time I have a patient come in here, whenever I do a consult, what do I always do? I always say, what's our goal? What are we looking to accomplish, yes? What do we want, yes? And if I don't feel it deep enough, I go, tell me more, what specifically? How's it affecting your life? Do you know why I do this? Because if I'm gonna take time to help you, do you want me to help you with the least most important things or the most important things to you? What is it? The most important things. And a lot of times we're a little not understanding that, the power that we have to heal, so we just share a little something. But the thing is, you have things in your life that are important to you, and we want to make sure you can get it. This is actually one of those things, but it gets pushed down. All we hear on the news is information that makes us feel disempowered. There's nothing you can do about it. Have you heard that? Well, you can hide, you can run, cover your face, wear a mask all day long every day. They even want to have people encouraged to wear masks in their home with their own families. Because there was one thing on the New England Journal of Medicine that I read that said about how when you're walking by, the masks don't even protect you from getting it when you're walking by. And then a lot of people were talking about it, and I even mentioned it to some people. And then the New England Journal of Medicine, because there's a big promotion to have everybody wear their masks and everything, and then they put out another letter that said, yes, even though we said that, and yes, that is true, but we are promoting masks because we don't want you to get the wrong idea. And, you know, if you're, the reason they gave was if you're using the mask, that's walking by on the street, but if you're gonna be with someone all day long, that's like in your home. Who's really gonna wear their mask at home all day long? Some people might be, and it's sad because, I mean, don't you ever, as soon as you start talking a lot or engaging a lot, you're like, man, sometimes you pull it away and go, and take a breath, you need oxygen. And there's studies out there that showed how your oxygen in your mask, just so much carbon dioxide that goes down. And then I saw a study on the news the other day to refute it. But it wasn't really refuting it. What they did was take a minute and have some doctor put on step masks, and he's checking his blood oxygen levels. I got news for you, I can hold my breath for a minute. My blood oxygen level isn't gonna go below 90 yet, like that quick. But the air that you're breathing in becomes toxic quickly. And so, you know, there's a lot of tricks, and you have to understand what you're looking at and what you're doing. The more you know what's going on, the more empowered you are. The more empowered you are, the more safe you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I love this. I love being able to share with you and share this gift and help you see how what you're doing makes a difference. Okay? So what do we have? 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is before the ball drops and they start saying, oh, flu season and this is going up, right? The choices that you make today can set you up. Okay? So you know what that means? Whatever syndrome X is, whatever it is that's going on, you know, if you find yourself in an inflammatory state, okay? What do I have here? Chronic inflammation attacks at cell level, right? CLG is chronic low-grade inflammation. This is the other type we're talking about, okay? Because it's related to heart disease, high cholesterol, blood pressure, strokes, mood disorders, depression, anxiety, brain degeneration. We'll talk about that in a minute. Alzheimer's. Yeah, you got to understand what the problem is, because if you don't know that there's a problem, then you're not going to do something about it. Because you go, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, correct? So you got to understand, we have to take a few minutes to know about the problem, because I'm not here just to share information for a jacuzzi experience, and then you get out of the jacuzzi, and you think that was nice, but everything's the same. And your danger levels are still the same, and the number of people who are going to die is still the same. No, I'm here because we want to make a difference. And I want to share you knowledge so you can pass it on to someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to understand it. So we need to understand what chronic inflammation is associated with: obesity, diabetes, cancer, joint pain, swelling, arthritis, atopic disorder, allergies, asthma, eczema, acne, poor recovery, poor healing, and especially in this COVID right now, a poor immune response. You understand? Okay? So when we find ourselves in this inflammatory state, very often it's a result of this. You ready? An upset in your metabolism from diet style, okay? Movement patterns. 3 things: diet style, movement patterns, and thought life. What do we talk about? Lifestyle. Lifestyle change: how we eat, how we think, and how we move. Okay? I'm going to talk about that. We got hormonal imbalance, metabolic, completely derangement from our habits, our lifestyles, and they all come together to create this chronic low-grade cellular inflammation associated with these chronic diseases, okay? Now this is what everybody's talking about now, isn't it? Aren't these as comorbidities associated with immunocompromise? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So if we can start making that change and decrease that chronic inflammation, even before the virus, these things were dangerous. Heart disease, how many people die from heart attacks and cancer and stuff? It's almost everybody, most people, right? So if we could start making a change today, that's what I really want to know. I want to know if today, you being here wasn't a waste of time. If I could show you how to make a big difference for you or someone you care about, how valuable would that be for you personally?
Very valuable.
And valuable enough to start applying some stuff? Okay, so so these are the things everybody's talking about as comorbidity, right? Immunocompromise. But it's not what we're talking about. It's not like if you sprained your ankle and it blew up, what I was talking about before. It's more like I fractured my natural design in my lifestyle. Do you understand that? How bad is a fracture? Your body is designed to be healthy. You're designed to be successful, to be pain-free. That's normal. That's natural. Even, especially if you have a lot of vitality and not too much stress that built up over the years, even when you get hurt, doesn't it start to heal automatically? See, it's your natural state. It's your life. You're born with it. It's your, what's that called if you're born with something? It's your birthright. It's your birthright to be healthy, to live a good quality life so that you can, to reproduce and what does that? Be fruitful and multiply. Have children. Have great happy memories. Dance at your grandchildren's wedding. This is possible. But if you don't know what I'm sharing with you today and all you know is the medical model is in crisis, isn't it? Isn't everyone in agreement that the healthcare system needs to change? The countries that actually do the most medical advice and the most medical treatments and the most hospitals, the most medications, our country uses only 5% of the world's population, right? Here's the world's population, we only have 5%, but we use most of the drugs. And our country is one of the most unhealthy countries. And what we're finding is the more you go to medical advice, the worse you get. In other words, the nerves control everything, stress affects us, and if it's not being addressed at the cause, why is my body not doing what it used to do anymore? No, what we do is we just why do you have blood sugar imbalances? Oh, because you have diabetes.
Yeah.
No. Diabetes is a label. As your body deteriorated and it's no longer able to manage your blood sugar, you're desensitized to insulin, all these things happened. Now your blood sugar's out of control and they labeled you, oh, you have diabetes. It's not, oh, diabetes caused this. You get it? It's just a label. So you're being labeled and then, oh, no, we'll manage it for you.
Yeah.
And how is it? It's under control. Under control in a way where you're getting better and you're not going to need the medicine soon? Or under control in a way where it's getting worse? You see? So there's a crisis going on because the more we look for people giving us advice to ignore what's causing our problem, what do you think is going to happen to your health? It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're witnessing in this country? And all of us, if we keep ignoring the root cause, our vitality decreases and we see more and more chronic problems. So it's very, very important, okay? So it's more like I fractured my natural design in my lifestyle and my cells are blowing up. Not my ankle, but my cells in my body, okay? So my body's responding to, I wrote down, the chronic toxicity and deficiency. And that's what it is. How you eat and how you move and how you think. There's toxicity, anything that's negative. Let's say I had an injury and I told you to move it, but you're moving it too much. That's a toxic movement. You're doing too much. Or don't all joints need motion to be healthy? Or that most of us are deficient in motion. We need to get up and exercise more, But it's how you eat, how you move, how you think, how you eat. The things that you need, most of us are deficient in. And the things that are bad for us, we're getting toxic. We have to bring balance. Our lifestyle, if you know exactly what is going on and how to assess your body and get it to adapt better, guess what? You can eat Kit Kats. You can even do it at 11 o'clock at night. I'm not saying that's a good habit. I'm saying it's a very bad habit. But what I'm saying is once you have an understanding of how things work, you don't have to be so strict one way, which never works because you can't hold it, but you don't have to be so strict the other way that you're gonna just let everything go to crap. You can find balance. There's grace. Your body is very, very powerful, and if you understand how to keep it the way you need to, you can make sure you keep checking, have a system for checking, you can make sure you're enjoying yourself and still go out and have a beer sometimes. Does that make sense? So, I mean, don't you know people who've had drinks, and I don't even know people who smoke cigarettes, or what was that guy named? George Burns, 97 years old or something, 100 years old, smoking cigars all the time? Okay? You can live over 100 years healthy if you have balance, even with a couple bad habits, because there's grace. You see, you don't need to be perfect. As a matter of fact, being a perfectionism creates so much stress on your nerves that it causes you to break down. You start getting all sort of colitis and stuff. You know what I mean? The insides just start to deteriorate. That's a bad habit.
You hit that right on the head.
What?
You hit that right on the head.
Ulcerative colitis, for real?
Yep,
That's
because that's how he is.
a lot of people. Well, it's the stress.
I had to say it, I'm sorry. He's probably embarrassed, but you hit that right on the head.
And I was misdiagnosed, but.
No, you were not.
Well, let me just focus on inflammation. And you know what? I'm going to offer anyone here, you, or anyone who's a patient already, if you have to consult with me or anything, if you'd like to, you can consult with me for free if you have questions you want to ask me or something, okay? All right? We helped a lot of people heal from a lot of things. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. I healed. Okay? It was bad. They stuck a camera up my butt. It was so bad. They said that it was so swollen, so inflamed that it was going to burst, and they couldn't even finish doing it. They pulled it out. I had one of the worst cases ever. And you know, I was in the hospital screaming in pain. I could. Anyway, the point is, I mean, look at me. I eat everything. Actually, no, I lied. I eat everything except eggs. I still haven't adapted to that yet, but everything else, you know. And even alcohol, it's not. You know, I can drink it. I was up by my brother's house. They tend to drink a lot more. I was drinking with them because you know, but you know, if I do too much, I can still notice a little. But as I bring up the vitality of my body, and so it's getting better and better and better. You understand? Right now, it's like it's perfectly normal. I just for some reason I haven't had this sensitivity to eggs, and my wife is like, let's correct that, and I'm like, let me just finish focusing on other stuff first. It wasn't that important to me. But she's right, and that's you know, we gotta listen. I always keep it real. You understand? So, but the point is I healed completely, and the inflammation's gone, my body's healthy, and it's doing well. I'm healthier now than I was 10, 20 years ago. Do you want to be healthier? Okay. Are you moving in that direction?
Little bit by little bit.
Okay. Well, it's better than the direction most people are moving in. Right? Worse, and what's that? Yes, yes. So let's get through this, okay? Because I want to share this most important information for you. So the good news is when we talk about toxicity and deficiency, right? In other words, associated with poor lifestyle choices, what do we say? How you're choosing to eat, how you're choosing to move, how you're choosing to think. There is good news here. You want to know what the good news is? It's the word choice. How you're choosing. In other words, you have a choice how you want to age, how you want to grow, how you want to adapt. Do you want these stresses and labels like to build up all these excesses and deficiencies? Even how you think is toxic and deficient. Gratitude. That's a nutrient. Your body needs it. If you don't get it, you get depressed, you start to break down. Respect, self-esteem, these are nutrients. Worry, frustration, disempowered ideas, those are toxic. Most of us have so many fear-based and toxic thoughts that it's causing so much breakdown in our body. What does fear do to your immune system, by the way? Do you know what science says? Fear causes your immune system to shut down. So how you think actually plays a huge role in what's happening in your body. Today, I was working with your leg a little bit, and as soon as I started bringing up some thoughts about it, all of a sudden you went, oh, went from 2 to 3, right? That's you know, how you think makes a huge difference. But the point is, it's a choice. There are things that you can choose to change every day. Every choice matters every day, and it will affect what you're doing in your life tomorrow. Does that make sense? So what we're going to share with you right now in the next 30 minutes is hope, because the truth always brings hope. Notice what I'm sharing. Doesn't it sound like common sense? The truth. It's what your spirit of truth inside your heart recognizes is true. it always brings hope. It says, I have a choice. I can do something, because the media and the medical model, they go, oh, you don't have a choice. You get it, it's dangerous. You have nothing you can do about it. Just wear a mask and hide and stay hidden, right? Until we come out with that shot and we're going to give you that shot. Oh no. Or I can be healthy. I have a choice. Even sick people, your immune system, your body is so strong that even most sick people, most people who aren't taking care of their health, looking at how stress is affecting, still adapted and overcame to this virus. But you're not hearing about that. They don't go on the news and talk to you about all the hundreds of thousands of people who got the virus and were totally fine. Oh, we had like a couple more 100,000 people here who told us. No, they're only talking about the ones who died. The 0.1% or whatever. You know what I mean? So we need to, our thoughts need to shift. You need to, if they're not going to help you do it with healthy, nutritious thoughts and actions and things, who needs to do it for you? You need to do it, or else it's not going to happen. But the point is, do you have a choice? Yeah, you could turn off Channel 2 News. Channel 40, you can turn it off for a few minutes and start reflecting. It's called prayer, it's called meditation. You can say, what's important to me? What am I committed to? Right? When you're not committed to something, that means you're going through life with a constant battle in your heart, right? That's one of the toxic thoughts that people have. We're so afraid of commitment. And like even if we wanted to make that adjustment, I said, how committed are you? If it's an 8 out of 10, there's conflict there, there's stress. That's 80% of us wants to do it, 20% doesn't. You know? But when you're 100% committed, it's much easier to succeed in life. And so you want to start focusing on what you're doing. So anyway, so what do I write here for you guys? So we're going to go over some strategies and tactics, starts and stops. Right now, we're going to start doing it. Your things to start doing and things to stop doing, okay? To take back control and influence. We're going to take back your personal responsibility. Is that good? Personal responsibility is something that you have to do. It's your responsibility. Is your doctor going to do it for you? No. So you have to. But here's the thing. If there's anything you're going to take on as one more thing to do, be healthy, control yourself a little bit, this is the one thing that doesn't take away energy. If you do it right, it actually gives you more energy. A lot of people come to us for energy. This is the one thing that doesn't cause more pain. Because sometimes we go, oh my God, personal responsibility, you feel the pain. Actually, it decreases your pain. It actually brings more hope and empowerment. You with me on this? If you become healthier and you're becoming more vitality and you're being more empowered, and that when challenges come your way, that's called negative feedback, you know how to make sure you adapt to it because you're committed 10 out of 10 to whatever it is you are committed to. Feeling great, being healthy, being safe. You follow?
Yeah.
So most people right now are feeling out of control. This is everybody we know, everyone around us. Out of control, out of effect. They're wondering, is there anything I can do to better my tomorrow right now? You hear about it on the news about, oh, there's going to be another surge. You hear about it? All right? Is anyone saying, don't worry, there's a lot you can do about it? Nobody. So that's why it's a special gift that I get to be here and share this with you. So let's start getting into some of these, okay? What are I here? Isn't another flu season right around the corner? Blah, blah, blah. By the way, just so you know, this is nature. We've been so conditioned to be afraid. That's what nature is. There's always a new virus or something going to be coming around. Haven't you noticed that? What was it? The avian flu back in the day. There was the swine flu. There was, there's always something. It's called nature. And your body adapts and is supposed to be responsible. We don't have to shut down the whole planet and make sure everybody takes more drugs and make the pharmaceutical companies richer, but you get sicker and increase our cancer rates by making everyone toxic and full of fear. I know I went fast there.
We got it.
But you got it.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you have a choice. Who has to stand up for you?
Yourself.
I know. I got news for you. Your doctor won't. That's that. They're going to just keep giving you drugs, but they're not going to say you need to make a change. They'll give you blood pressure medicine to lower the blood pressure, but they won't say, hey, you got to start. Actually, some doctors might go, hey, you need to do something. But they don't study how to do that and what to do and help you succeed there. They go, you got to make some lifestyle changes. Come back again in 6 months. No, didn't work. Okay. You know what I mean? You need this medicine now. Come on. It's like somebody's going to have a heart attack as their cardiovascular system's deteriorating. Instead of helping you fix it, they just say, you have to do it. You don't really know what to do. Come on, let's be real here. Even if you read about it, how many people read about it and then you go, oh, okay, and without the right help and guidance. That's why I see myself more of like your health coach. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? Because you're responsible for your health, and I'm going to make sure you succeed. As long as you are making sure you succeed, I'm not going to put the pressure on myself. I got it? Okay. So, but that's just nature. It's how things work. Okay? Whatever. There are things that you can do right now, choices you make every day, to discover whether you're going to be one of the strong ones or not. So who wants to be a strong one when this virus comes around again? Yes? Okay. So let's start going over some of these starts and stops. Okay? Let me put this here. Let's go through this quickly, okay? So number 1, omega-6 fatty acids. What causes silent inflammation? Do you guys know anything about omega fatty acids? All right, get this in your head. A lot of times we're giving the perfect balance is a 2-to-1 ratio, okay? You want to have twice as much omega-6 to omega-3, but the problem is that we have so much more. I'll show you on the next slide, you know, or one of the next slides coming up. I kind of put them all together, okay? But when you have an imbalance, it just doesn't work, okay? You've heard of these good fats and bad fats and stuff like that, okay? Most of our diets are so high in omega-6s. All right? There has to be a good balance between omega-3, 6, and 9 fatty acids, okay? I have it written there. Our modern diet style is 10-to-1 and 20-to-1. So it's going out of balance. Can you make a change in your diet a little bit or just be aware of it? Listen, peanuts are high in omega-6s. I eat peanuts, they're good for me. But if I don't take enough or, you know, do something to balance out my omega-3s, you know, it's like omega-3s like flaxseed oil, good healthy Alaskan salmon, Norwegian salmon, so, you know, good, you know, there's different types of things you can do. I have a list I'm going to show you in a second. Then you're going to be out of balance. You're going to be out of balance, you have chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation, you're going to have every one of those symptoms that we just started, they all start getting worse in your body, including a weakened immune system. Okay? So raise your hand if you want to restore the balance. Okay? Okay, so there's certain things you need to do. We got to increase omega, you want to start decreasing the omega-6 because our lifestyle has a huge increase in it right now. Our diet is not as healthy as it used to be. Did you know even like, for example, 1 can of spinach 50 years ago has the same iron content as 30, I think it's 36 or 34 cans of spinach today?
Wow.
Yeah. The food isn't as nutritious as it used to be. There's things that have changed.
Wow.
Heck, most of the food isn't even real food. It's all genetically changed. Right? Like 70 to 90% of the things in the supermarket, they genetically altered so that what you used to call, what your grandparents and parents used to call food, you don't see that in the supermarket. It's all changed. They played around with the genes. They're playing God. And by the way, it's not as healthy and it's not as nutritious.
So,
I know. Okay?
fresh is the best.
Yes. So what are these omega-3 fatty acids? Well, let's just focus on this. Your body is made of cells. Did you guys understand that? Okay. So your cells have membranes on the outside. It's like the skin on your body. Well, each cell has skin around it, okay? And do you want that skin to be stiff and rigid or flexible?
Flexible.
Raise your hand if you want stiffness. Okay, good. So we're on the same page. So what do we need to do? Less omega-3s or more omega-3s? More in your diet, okay? Omega-3 fatty acids. Sometimes what I do when I have patients in the inflammation, I say, start taking more omega-3s. But what it really works more on is not so much the immediate acute inflammation of a swollen joint. Sometimes I have to, for that, I'll give like enzyme, like proteolytic enzymes, anti-inflammatory enzymes that help with that, okay? Joint support, things like that, things that help with stress. But the omega-3s helps overall with inflammation, but where it really makes a difference is over time as you're taking it with this chronic low-grade inflammation linked to heart disease and cancer and all these other things and obesity, okay? So you need to make sure that things can get in and out of the cell nice and smooth, or else even if you're eating good food, it's not getting into your cells, right? What good is it if I, imagine I want to, let's say I haven't been with my children in years and I'm finally visiting, I want to spend time with them. What good is it if I can go there but I can't spend time with them? Right? It's the same thing. What good is it if I start eating healthy but it's not getting into the cells? Make sense? Okay. So omega-3s and inflammation want a balanced ratio, okay? And there's actually testing that you can do. I don't do the testing, but you can test for it. But in all reality, look how easy it is. Just start taking something, or start doing something, or start being aware of it. You can look it up on the internet. You can get more information, okay? Hormones, pro-inflammatory chronic disease, it's all related to obesity. You understand? It makes your body gain weight more because inflammatory response to you having loss of function. That's one of the 5 things. Okay? Cardiovascular health. What's all that inflammation doing to the blood vessels? It's causing damage. So when you get damage, this fibrin underneath gets exposed, and then you have, you know how in your blood you have like the platelets? That's the sticky part. The platelets aggregate there, and then you get calcium plaquing over it, and the whole thing's still getting damaged, and eventually that plaque will just get lost. And what's going to happen? You get a stroke or a heart attack, or an aneurysm or something. Well, an aneurysm globals out because it's getting weaker. But do you see that? So chronic inflammation is causing heart problems, blood vessel problems, cholesterol problems, okay? Plaque, clots, and strokes, okay? Heart attacks, okay? Joint health. We talked about that a little bit already, okay? So obviously, if the more we can help, the better you're going to be, the better you're going to move, the better you can exercise. Everyone needs some exercise every day, okay? Brain health. I told you I was going to mention a little bit about that. When you have chronic low-grade inflammation, it affects your synapses in your brain. So if our children are not getting, you know, a child is so, the younger you are, the more important your neurological development is in the beginning, okay? Because, I mean, think about it. From the child is born to the first year of life, how their brain doubled in size. Do you know what I'm talking about? Wow. Right? So your brain doubled in size, and your children's neurology is developing all these patterns and habits, and instead of being able to do it in a healthy way, it's creating problems. So it's affecting pediatric development. Moms who are breastfeeding, it affects them through the milk. Your mood, depression, anxiety has been associated with it, and also how well your brain can focus and remember things. All of this is affected by chronic inflammation. Okay? So what are these symptoms really saying about your health? You know how I have the entry form when a patient comes in and it says, where do you think you are on your health? And it shows numbers underneath here or something, right? And everybody, you know, puts that. I want to know where people think they are. It's almost never where they actually are, okay? Because everybody, you know, like when you look at it, it says, there's, like over here, symptoms is over here. Because if you're healthy, is everything working properly? If everything's working properly, there's no chronic symptoms. So there's no way you're over here if you're having chronic symptoms. You're over here. Okay? Signs, symptoms. But everybody goes, oh, I'm like an 8. I think I'm moving in this direction. You know what I'm talking about?
You won't even be here.
You wouldn't, yeah, exactly. But the thing is, we have habits mentally that are repressing your. If you keep telling, if your brain, if deep in your heart you know something needs to be fixed, get better, but you keep telling your brain, no, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty good. What are you telling your training your brain to do? To fix it or to leave it alone?
Leave it alone.
So it's going to get worse. Say honesty is a nutrient. Being humble and honest is necessary for healing. If we're in denial, you can't address what needs to be done. You got it? So anyway, literally, you're training your neurology. Don't your nerves control everything in your body? So if you're conditioning your nerves, you ever see that guy Wim Hof, the Iceman? He does that Wim Hof breathing, stress techniques. He goes into ice water and he can stay there for like hours without dying. You've heard of him?
Yeah.
Right? How does he do it? He starts off in his mind. Decided, trained his nerves. Science says that's impossible. He'd have frostbite by now, right? But it's not true. Your body's capable of more than you realize. So what we do is we say, oh, let's apply this to healing from injuries and healing from heart disease and healing from cancer and healing from diabetes. I made up a new word. Diabetes, yeah, obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, and all these things, autoimmune disease, when your immune system is attacking your body. If you know you have this ability that's inside you, dormant, what do you think we're here to do? Right now, this is just the beginning, just to show you how you can heal this, but it's not about that. As we develop our relationship, because you're fairly new, I'm going to go deeper. What do you really want, Caesar? As you get older, look at everybody else that end up with cancer, heart. What do you want? See how you go a little bit deeper into your heart and you feel those emotions? That's what you really care about. And we're going to make sure that you always have a choice and that you can have what you care about. And then that one day you know well enough that you're going to share it with your wife and kids and say, hey, I want them to get checked. And I want you understand? Because you want everyone you care about to have that. Okay? But the thing is, where are you on this chart? Is everything growth, education, where, are you aware? Or you have signs that your body's not working well, symptoms that are becoming chronic, any disabilities, can't walk good, okay? where are we? Where are your children? Where's your wife? Where's your daughter? You understand? Your family members, people you care about. Well, not only that, but what direction are they moving in? If you don't start checking all the little stresses that are building up, what direction are you moving in? Yeah, look around you. See, this is negative feedback. It's a negative feeling in your heart, right? But subluxation stops you from taking action and represses it. But it's like you can do something. You have a choice on how your family ages. And it's always easier when you take, we have families, we take care of children, keeping them healthy rather than getting worse, you know? But anyway, and not only what direction are they moving in, but at what speed? What velocity? Are these important questions? You want to be healthy, right? So you have to look at what you said that you were moving from here, you're moving in this direction but slowly, right?
Mhm.
And I said, well, thank God you're not moving in that direction. Now, if you're getting any frustration or upset, that's negative feedback telling you that what you really want is to move faster. And so what's required is an action step. And you gotta tell me, I'll help you. If you go faster, keep moving even faster. It make sense?
Mhm.
But you always have to be honest and assess, are my symptoms becoming more and more chronic and more problematic and more serious? Or are they becoming less severe, less frequent, and overall eventually until they're gone? Which direction are you really moving in? Can you follow? Well, you were moving this way very fast when I first met you. And I said, oh my goodness, thank God we're moving in this direction right now. You follow? But with all this chronic inflammation still going on, sometimes there can still be some body parts that we're not necessarily getting enough vitality, maintaining it long enough when you go home. So that's why you're learning these things. That's why you're here. The more you can apply lifestyle changes, the more you can hold your adjustments and stay healing. And keep moving that direction, okay? So what causes the silent inflammation? We talked about this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a dangerous belief. Okay? You understand? Look at this. I take aspirin for the headache caused by the Zyrtec. I take for the hay fever that I got from Relenza. For the uneasy stomach from the Ritalin I take. For the short attention span caused by the Scopoderm teas I take. For the motion sickness I got from the Lamotil. I take for the diarrhea caused by the Zenical. For the uncontrolled weight gain from the Paxil I take. For the anxiety from the Zocor that I take for my high cholesterol, because exercise, a good diet, and regular chiropractic care are just too much trouble. I like that, that's why. Every drug has a long list of side effects, right?
Uh-huh.
Guys, the more drugs you take, the sicker you're gonna be. They all affect you. Who here thinks you should give your kid some heart medicine just to keep their heart healthy? No? Why not? Put your little ones, your grandkids on cholesterol medicines. Why? Don't you want them to have good cholesterol? What? Because you know that, okay, so if it's dangerous, if it's bad for you, it's bad for you, right? So if it makes healthy people sick, how is it gonna make a sick person well? Do you see the danger in that belief? What you're doing is controlling some symptoms with dangerous drugs, and the longer you take it, and the more likely you take it, the more things are breaking down. Eventually, you start having more and more of these side effects. That's how it works. You may not like it, because everything you were always told is that you don't have a choice. You were forced into it. It's really a form of slavery. The more we get you hooked on drugs, the more you're gonna need more. It's almost like when you watch those movies and I don't know, I guess this happens in the world today. Drug, you get kids, they give the first sample of drugs for free, you get them hooked, and now you start charging them a lot of money for it, you know what I mean? That, like in healthcare, this is what we're doing to you guys. Do you like it? So who's the only one who can get you to take an action step out of that? You. But you gotta start addressing the root cause and getting vitality to increase. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So here's some sources of omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3s. I'm just gonna say quick because today we have the internet. You can Google omega-3 fatty acid foods and omega-6s, but make sure you start making at least some change. So we have grains, grain-fed animal protein, vegetable oils. These are the bad stuff that I want you to decrease, okay? We wanna stop or decrease some of these. Corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower, safflower, peanuts, soy, canola. And we want to start increasing cold water fatty fish. Notice I put wild. Not the farm raised, but the wild, like the Alaskan salmon or Norwegian. There's up there, there's less mercury intake in the water. You follow? In the foods. Grass-fed meats, right? game and range-fed eggs, the more natural. What do you notice? The more natural, the better. That's what we say. Okay? So if you can get, or if you can afford to start doing organic, the better. When my wife and I got married, she just started right from the beginning. She budgeted for organic, so we don't feel the stress of it, of increasing, because some of these foods are like twice as expensive. And my wife, she goes, no, I want to give good, but you know what she did to me? This is how my wife got me. She goes and she takes 2 apples, and she goes, this apple, let's say this was an apple. She goes, this apple is organic, and this one isn't. Because my family was always like, my mom's like, I don't believe that stuff, just go with it, you know. And she goes, this one's organic, this one wasn't, right? This one is certified. In other words, the government watched, they made sure it was done right. They never sprayed poisons or pesticides on it. This one, you know, like Raid, things you use to pesticides.
Mm-hmm.
Things that sometimes they make them outlawed, like Agent Orange and other stuff. They use harsh stuff, you know? And they go, this one was sprayed all the time with poison. Don't worry, I washed it, but some of it might have come into the skin already, like absorbed a little. She goes, which one do you want to eat? Do you remember that, honey? She goes, which one do you want? Okay, thank you. So forget about this whole, oh, I believe it, nobody. Just listen, the more natural, the more organic, the healthier you're going to be. Does that make sense? Less toxic. Easy to follow, right? Okay, let's go through. There's nothing that can be done. That's a toxic thought. Raise your hand if you said, I don't know, what are you going to do? It's just stress. Have you ever said that? Okay. Stop telling yourself, training your brain that you can't be healthy. Does stress kill? Does stress cause heart attacks? Does stress cause cancer? Does stress cause your body to break down?
Yes.
So stop saying there's nothing you can do about it. What you're saying is you're going to get cancer one day, you're going to get a stroke one day, there's nothing you can do about it, I'll just manage it with medicines, and I'll get more toxic, and God forbid I live as long as I want to, I might be an invalid. I might not be able to go up and down the stairs because my blood pressure medicine makes me get lightheaded if I do that. Or I might, you get it? Are you as upset as I am about how many people being robbed of living their normal life? Okay. I'm here to, that's why I love this. That's why I get to share this with you. That's why my family's so blessed. And my practice family is being blessed. The more we share this, the more you have a choice. I don't make you do something, but I'm making sure that you have a choice. I don't want you to be a slave to disease and sickness and medication, okay? But is there always something you can do? Can you, if you really wanted to, can you check and evaluate how the stress is affecting the nerves that control everything?
Yes.
If you wanted to, you could. But your medical doctor won't do that, correct? So if you want to afterwards, just tell me. I'll check it for you later. Anyone who's here, I'll bless you for free. I'll show you. If we had to do nerve x-rays or whatever is necessary after a consultation, I'll help you. If you want to, it's a gift. Okay? So what can I do to fix it? Well, diet style changes. Reduce your fast food. You know what that is? It's called McDonald's. And it's called, okay? Your white carbs, your white breads, grains, cereals, and sugar. You understand? We talked about reducing omega oil 6 intake, add grass-fed meats, range-fed foods, increase colorful fruits and veggies. Okay? Now, anyone here hate supplementation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate pills.
You hate it. Let me tell you something.
I have it, but I want it.
Do you love Nivea?
Yeah.
Okay. If the foods that you're giving her, I understand the principle. You shouldn't have to supplement. The foods should have the right amount of nutrients in it. They should. Why they gotta mess around with the soils? Why they gotta mess around with all these toxins and poisons? And now they don't even use regular fertilizers sometimes, like the manures. They use these oils, and it's toxic, and their food it's not as healthy as nutrient. I understand it's supposed to, it should. You should be able to feed your daughter food, and it should be all of her nutrient needs. It should be, and you're right about that. But it's just not the case. Okay, so if you know that, the question is, are you going to let her have her nutrient needs or not?
Oh, yeah.
Well, there may be need to supplement. So one of these days, next time she comes in, let me show you. I'll show you how to check each organ and tissue and see if they're all supported or if they need some support.
Okay.
You can choose. Sometimes, I understand sometimes we're just like, but I don't want to. And it's like, but when you understand that there's a need sometimes, Well, we don't even give a blanket, we just choose. We check, and then we see. And if you want, you can even give a good multi-vegetable. Do you know that the medical field even says that now you need, how many servings of fruits and vegetables do they say does everyone need just to keep healthy? Is it like 13 or something? It's something super high. Who here has 13 servings of fruits and vegetables a day? 13. Nobody. So even the Surgeon General of the United States is telling you that the food nutrients is so low that you need to, you're not gonna get, why not take a good multi-veggie? All organic, whole food vegetables, you just pop it, and you get like, you know what I mean? You can add more vegetables into your diet easy like that, because it's whole food. It's not just vitamins or minerals, it's pretty good. Okay? That's where you get the colors and the fruits and vegetables, it's good stuff. Those colors are, you get the phytonutrients, okay? Diet style changes. Are you understanding this? Fish oil supplementation, you can do this, okay? It's okay. Yeah, well, bonfire, your health is like a bonfire. Because how you eat, how you move, how you think. How you think is your spark. You have to be clear, I want this. That's the spark. Your thoughts make it matter with your health. Then the next thing, how you eat, well, you can't have a fire even though you have that spark without fuel. You need wood to burn or gasoline or something, right? Your fuel is the way you eat. But you still won't have a fire without oxygen, right? You need oxygen, that's how you move. How you're moving pumps the blood, gets oxygen through every organ, tissue, joints, you get it? How you eat, how you move, and how you think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We were talking about these are just types of omega-3 fatty acids, icosapentaenoic acid, and DHA, anyway, just make sure you get a good balance, okay? We have different things in the back if you'd like to get from us, okay? But eat, move, and think, yes? I drink some of these. My wife knows how to make them very tasty. Oh yeah, you just put some apple in there, right?
Organic.
Yeah, yes. Come here. Yeah. Is it gonna cost more money for organic?
Yes.
Isn't that, I know I shouldn't have to pay more money for normal food. I agree. But that's the system we live in. And I also feel that not every one of my aunts and uncles and everyone shouldn't have ended up with cancer, the ones that did. But that's the world we live in, too, right? Everyone's deteriorating. What do you think is going to happen as you get more toxic and your body's getting weaker immune system and you're going to have all this chronic inflammation? And what do you think is going to happen? You get cancer, you get blood vessel burst, you get stroke, heart attack, or cancer. Isn't that like what everyone's dying from? Okay, so I know it's not right, but are you getting the ability to have a choice?
Yes.
Yes, for you and your family. So we're going to hit the reset button? All right. So, stress, how you think, toxins, and traumas. Just for today, let's start focusing, because I do separate workshops on each thing and stuff. So for your thoughts, let's just focus on this. Be clear about what you want. If you're not clear about what you want in terms of your health and your future, guess what you need to do? Reflect, pray, or meditate. Ask yourself questions like this. What do I really, really want? What's right for me? Lord, is that the right desire of my heart? Is that what I should really want for myself? Sometimes you're going to see layers come up, subluxated ideas. People plant ideas into your mind like unworthiness or something. You go ahead, what I really want is to be healthy forever. And then some people will have unworthiness come up. And I felt guilty about asking for that. Connect. Should I feel guilty about that? So that's why sometimes one of the best things to do is to say, God, what do you want for me? What does divine love want for me? And then realize it's not about what you want, it's what God wants. And then you realize what God wants for you is what you want for your children. It's the same thing. And then you realize, of course I should want to be healthy. And let go of all the guilt and just get clear. But you need to take time to get clear on what you want with your thoughts. I'll just start with that. Okay? Other things like love, self-esteem, things like that, those are all nutrients. And we need to start increasing those. Right? Sometimes when we're having a hard time and a lot of things hurting, our thoughts were so focused on what's wrong, and we have more complaints than gratitude. Well, if you're going to turn it around, it takes effort then to focus on what can I be more thankful for right now than upset about. And then as it starts to shift and you stop the momentum in the negative or move that momentum towards that chart to the positive, then it gets easier and easier. But who's the one who has to take that first step?
Yourself.
You do. Make sense? All right? If you ignore your problems, will they go away?
No.
Okay? Guys, chronic inflammation is one of the biggest things that's causing so much problems. It's all because of how that stress is affecting us. When we talked about, I talked a lot about nutrition, that's like what a lot of the people is. I also said about how you think, I talked about that. I want to talk about movement a little bit. Every joint, you ever have your joint, like, and you put it in a weird position, and then you don't move it for a little bit, and then it starts to feel stiff? Okay, so what does every joint need every day? It's a movement. It's a full range of motion against resistance, okay? I talked about it a little bit, okay? So when you don't get the full range of motion, you build up scar tissue or fibrous tissue. It gets stiffer. You start to get restricted in the motion. And then even as you're moving, let's say these joints in my neck, I'm going to use this, okay? Was this good? Okay? So let's say some of these joints from stress, it's not just stress, it's unadapted stress gets repressed, right? And so it's built up. That turns into subluxation. It gets stuck. It causes damage. And so now, as I move and I bend and I'm making my bed and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm taking a shower, vacuum the pool, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm moving around. First of all, the joints are not in proper alignment. They're out of alignment, creating tension. There's abnormal motion because the fibrous tissue, it's not allowing the joint to move freely. And you get abnormal motion like this, rubbing, abnormal motion, you start to get chronic inflammation. It builds up more fibrous tissue. And now, here's what we're talking about, inflammation again. And we get this chronic inflammation because it's all over the place. Do you ever just feel that sore achiness all the time in your back and stuff? That's inflammation. This is why we're doing this. I don't want you to have a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. Or end up with whatever is breaking down in your body because of that. And you have a choice. I got my whole life turned around. My wife got her whole life turned around. And in the last month or two, when she had these extra stressors I was putting her through. And she noticed a certain stiffness starting to build up in her neck. And we just said, what? Oh, that's it. I said, how come you didn't tell me about that? The moment you noticed, I said, that's it. We're going to take care of this. See, we're empowered. We're not perfect. We're just like you. Okay, you're perfect. But I'm not. And I don't do everything perfect in my health. But thank God I don't have to. And I can still succeed and live a long, healthy life. We're seeing people heal. We have people coming off insulin. It's pretty cool. People coming off blood pressure medicines. The young lady that almost made me, she almost made me cry. Did you see the lady, she only spoke Spanish? She was diagnosed with such a horrible disease, an autonomic an immune system disease. And the medicines weren't working. Then they wanted to give her more shots right into her hands. And they said she was going to get the rheumatoid arthritis too. And it was going to, how long ago did she start?
This week?
It was this week, last week? It was this week? She said she's like 90% better already. Is that awesome or what? She has power, but she made a decision. I helped her break through. What is it that you want? And she was giving these general answers. I said, what specifically? Right? See, we start to tune the brain in. And then, but it makes you emotional sometimes when we do that, right? Because I can see all the subluxations, all the bad patterns and habits, and how you think or how your body is working and responding chemically, or all the resistances come to the surface. But that's what I need to see. That's what I specialize in. That's why we got to be specific of what you want, what's going to change to your life. Why do you want it? They go, oh, well, because it would be better. Yeah, but what would be different in your life? And as soon as I do that, I go, oh, let's make sure that starts happening. And then now you feel empowered already, and it starts changing. You have strength in you, and my job is to help train your brain to tune into that and help you move forward. And as long as you want to keep moving forward, and meaning improving your quality of life, how cool would it be if in another year or 5 years you were twice as healthy,